Hi, it's Tash. Welcome to Tash's Library. Today's video is going to be looking at where I'm up to on the HRCYED challenge. I kind of just jumped into this. I hadn't heard about it last year. I saw some videos about it this year and hopped into it in July. I am pretty proud of how I'm going on this. I've managed to fit in quite a few books, but I thought it might be interesting to give you an update, and also that means I can get some suggestions for the ones that I am having difficulty with. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet, and as you can see, when I go to the board, I've got quite a few done. I've got 24-hour readathons, subgenres, award season, TBR challenge, avatar, and animals. So I am very, very happy with that. All right, going to by the hundreds. I'm pretty happy with how I'm going there. Got Snapshot for 100, Chemistry for Breakfast, the non-fiction book for 200, Girl with Ghost Eyes 300, Revenger 400, Calabasas 500. I have just started The Raven Scholar, which will be my 600 plus page book, and I'm planning to read Strength of the Few for 700, but I do have a couple other options should I choose to do those instead. Then for the 24-hour readathon, I read 2 books in totality. I read Attack on Titan Volume 1 and The Naked Sun, which is the second book in the Isaac Asimov's Robot series. I also read half of Alien Earths, which is a non-fiction book, and then a couple Ray Bradbury short stories. All in all, I only finished 2 books, but I read quite a lot of pages, and I read for about 14 hours, but I also had breaks in there. Subgenres of choice, and I can probably make that a little bit bigger. I went with fantasy, and so for romantic fantasy, I went with The Enchanted Greenhouse, which I loved. For humor, I went with Guards by Terry Pratchett. Urban fantasy, I've got Blameless by Cale Carriger. Historical, A Resistance of Witches, which is about witches during World War II. Grimdark, I went The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. And for cozy, I went to Miss Percy's A Pocket Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons. So this one is done. Very happy that it was one of the first, I think it was the first square I completed. I do read a lot of fantasy. All right, so Series Staircase is probably a tricky one. Obviously solo, very easy. I just slotted in the Society of Unknowable Objects in there. And I have completed the 4 or more. These were audio. And it was a Cornish Christmas murder, Recipe for Murder, Seaside Murder, and Campsite Murder. I do enjoy listening to cozy mysteries on audio. I can't really do science fiction or fantasy because I just don't have the attention span for audio. And so cozy mysteries about it for me. So that's done. For duology, I have just finished Ilium, which is a duology by Dan Simmons. So I love the Hyperion Cantos, and you know what? I loved Ilium as well. Now, the second book in this is about 800 odd pages, so it's going to be a bit of a chunk, but I can't wait to get to it. So I think I'm definitely going to be able to put that in as my duology. For trilogy, I haven't really given this too much thought. I could continue the Revenger series because I did read book 1. But I don't know if I'm going to get to those yet. I do have some other options. Shadow of the Fox, Red Sister, Nevernight. I don't know. I'm just going to see what happens with this one. Award season is done. And as you can see, I have gone with 2 winners. And so I had Orbital, that won the Booker Prize 2025. The Ballad of Black Tom won the Shirley Jackson Award of 2016. Then I had 2 finalists. So Roger Zelazny's A Night in the Lonesome October won Best Novel in the Nebula Awards in 94. And 6 Wakes won the Hugo Best Novel in 2018. Then for semi-finalists, I have 2, and these are Goodreads Choice Awards. So Ascension was a semi-finalist in the science fiction of 2023, and Mickey 7 was a semi-finalist in 2022. For an entrance, I went to the Edgar Awards for this year, and it's a case of Mice and Murder, which I listened to on audio, which was super, super fun. So that's done. TBR game, I actually played Lord of the Rings by Library Unbounded. I didn't film it, and I wish I had, but I didn't. But yes, anyway, I did get 6 books in all. And so the first one was Start a New Series, and for this one I picked Agatha Raisin and the Quiche of Death, a cozy mystery that I listened to on audio. Continuous series was Death in the Misty Isle, which is the Trussell and Gout's paranormal investigation series, and I love this. Read a book by a female author. I read You Had Me at Chateau by Portia McIntosh. This also was audio because some romance I can do as well if it's a romantic comedy. Tough one was read a book with a fruit or vegetable on the cover, and for this I picked A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. Had heaps of food. So it had raspberries and lemons, I think, and cherries and all sorts of things. Bookshelf jar. I pretty much just picked books that were on my shelf for a long time. And so I read Memories Legion, which is a series of short stories accompanying the Expanse series. And pick a book as a reward. I read Bee Speaker, which was an anticipated 2025 new release. So that is done. Now, last 10 years is almost done as well. So 2015, The Voyage of the Basilisk. 2016, Revenger. 2017, Snapshot. 2018, Edge Dancer. 2019, Ted Chiang's Exhalation. 21, A Cornish Christmas Murder. 22 was Upgrade. 2023, Cornish Seaside Murder. 24, Orbital. And 25, We Solve Murders. I'm only missing a 2020. I do have a few options here. I'm thinking maybe The Animals in That Country, which is set in Australia, or continue the Witcher series of Baptism of Fire. I've also have Axiom's End and The Last Smile in Sunder City, both of which I'm super excited about. Or I could go non-fiction about fungi, or The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. So that's an option. Adaptations. This was like pretty tricky for me, mainly because I actually don't consume a lot of media. But I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought I was, because for modern retelling, I haven't done yet, but I'm actually going to read Atalanta, which is obviously a modern retelling of the Jason and the Argonauts and all that sort of stuff. For musical, that's the one I thought I was going to struggle with, because I'm not a fan of musicals. I don't like musicals, and they tend to be quite depressing, so I didn't really want to read the source material. But I happened to go to La Bohème, the opera, and found out that it's actually based on a short book by Henry Murger called Scenes of Bohemian Life. So I have consumed the musical there. For graphic novel or comic, I read Attack on Titan. There is obviously an anime, but I'm not going to watch that. I didn't actually enjoy reading Attack on Titan anyway. I don't enjoy graphic novels, so that was a bit of a stretch for me. For play, I've went with Tales from the Cafe. This is the second book in Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, and it's based on an original Japanese play. TV show, I went with Agatha Raisin because I have seen the TV show. Web series I haven't got yet. I feel like I'm definitely going to read the source material because, as I said, I'm not into watching media. So I'm going to probably pick Dracula, Frankenstein, or Jane Austen because there are some web series based on those. For animation, I'm going to read Howl's Moving Castle. That's my plan at this stage. I haven't seen the film either, so maybe that's a chance to do that. And for movie, I went with Mickey 7. So I read Mickey 7, which of course Mickey 17 is based on. For disability challenge, I'm doing very, very poorly. All I've got so far is of monsters and mainframes, which does have a person with an amputated arm. But I have ideas. I know the books I want to read. I just haven't got to them yet. So I'm getting there. But if you do have good suggestions, let me know. I don't like romance very much, and I mainly read fantasy and science fiction. So, yes, so I'm trying to fit that into that as much as possible. Heritage months, I think I've actually done quite well. So I've done the Hispanic heritage with the Mimicking of Known Successes by Malka Older, who is Hispanic. For November, I have actually put this in, even though I haven't quite finished it. I'm very close to finishing it, but it will be Never Whistle at Night, which is a series of short stories by Indigenous authors. For Black History, I've got Victor Lavelle. For AAPI Heritage, I have The Girl with Ghost Eyes. Whilst Borison is not actually Asian, it is very much about Asian culture. June, I've put The Empress of Salt and Fortune for LGBTQ plus pride. So I'm missing Disability Pride, which is pretty easy because I've got heaps of disability books I want to read. Women's History, I'm not sure yet. I have no idea what I'm going to read. I was thinking maybe The Incandescent, or I don't know, or maybe some non-fiction about women in science or something like that. Arab Heritage, I'm thinking I might get to The Stardust Thief. And Jewish Heritage, I think I'm probably going the Golem and the Jinni. That's my plan at the moment. But anyway, let me know if you've got some good suggestions. Translation challenge, I'm doing quite well so far. I've got Japanese, Tales from the Cafe. Now, I do have Tales from the Cafe 3 times because I did have a bonus prompt from reading a title with a pun. But if I get to it, if I manage, I probably won't use it 3 times anyway. I'll see so I've got so many Japanese books I want to read. Then Russian, I've got Roadside Picnic, and German, I've got 3 bags full. And I've only got 2 left, and I have a few. I have Redemption of Time, or The Wandering Earth for Chinese. I've got some Jules Verne I want to read for French. I've got some Polish options as well. I have a Czech option, and I've got a Sunny Place of Shady People, which is Spanish. So I'm sure I have no issues doing this one. Around the World is going well as well. I've put We Solve Murders in for North America, and Zuzu City for Africa because it's set in Johannesburg in South Africa. Europe, I went The Bullet That Missed because it's in the UK. And Asia, I went with the non-fiction Krakatoa because it's about the island of Krakatoa in Indonesia. So I'm just missing South America and Australia, which is kind of why I was thinking if I went to A Sunny Place for Shady People and the animals in that country, they would double up really nicely. Antarctica, I'm not sure at this stage. I don't know if I am really chasing bonus points, so I'll see how I go. The Even Bigger Rainbow Challenge is looking awesome. So I've got, as you can see, I've got a really nice, particularly in the first ones, I've got some really good bright ones. I almost feel like I need to change some of them to fit nicer. But anyway, red, Breakfast of Einstein, orange, Lonesome October, yellow face, teal, Chemistry for Breakfast, light blue, I went with Sinister Spring by Agatha Christie. This is predominantly light blue in terms of the sky. Blue, Upgrade, perfect. Pink, You Had Me at Chateau. Black, I've got Alistair Reynolds. White, I've got Edge Dancer. Silver Gold, I've got Blameless, because this is predominantly grey, and I think you can include grey. 7+ colours, I've got Alien Earths, because all the planets, like I've counted up the colours and it's past 7. So there's lots of different colours in there. So I'm just waiting on green and purple. For purple, I'm going to put Raven Scholar in there. For green, I'm not sure. Perhaps I could, I'm thinking maybe Hollow Kingdom, which is a book about a zombie apocalypse. So far, that's potentially my plan. Or maybe Green Teeth. Make a quote. Okay, so my quote is, "A light from the shadows shall spring," and that's on Lord of the Rings. And I'm sort of getting there. Sort of. I think I'm about halfway. So for A, I've got A, Cornish Recipe for Murder. From, I've got Tales from the Cafe. The Bullet that missed. Shell, I don't have any books on my TBR that has the word shell on it. So I've actually had to spell this one out. So S, I've got 6 wakes already. And then spring, of course, I've got Sinister Spring. So I've also got lots of ideas on how to get some of the others. So I can do it. It's just going to take a bit of time. Spooky creatures is close. Vampire, I've got Hammered, because there is a vampire in the Iron Druid series, particularly in this book. The vampire really, really features. For Shifter, I've got a werewolf in Strange Beasts. And magic user, I've got an earth magic user in the Obelisk Gate. Fae, there's an elf, her main character in the Devils. For spirit, I've got a malevolent spirit in a box for claimed. And for other creature, I've chosen Banshee, who does play an important plot point in Death in the Misty Isle. So I'm just waiting on Merfolk and Zombie. And for that, I think I'm probably going to go Into the Drowning Deep and probably Hollow Kingdom. That's my, they're my plans for now. Become the Avatar is done. I've gone with cover image because that was a little bit easier. And as you can see, the Voyage of the Basilisk has water. It's on the ocean. Earth, I went with Krakatoa. I mean, it's a volcano. Like, how earthy can you get? Fire, Dangerous Ideas, which is a non-fiction book about censorship. And you can see flames there. And air, I've gone with Ascension because you do have clouds and a lot of sky there. So I've kind of just gone to that. I had planned a little bit for title, but I don't have any books with the word air in the title. Okay, readathon challenge I haven't done yet because I'm waiting for Reindeer Readathon, but I have got my 10 prompts sort of ready. So I got my 9 reindeer and my bonus prompt. I'm assuming it's the same, and I cannot wait. For animals, I've done this one. This is pretty cool. I've got, you can see, house pets. I went with the dog in Hammered. He does have a dog he can communicate with. Zoo City has a sloth companion. So that's an exotic pet in my opinion. Farm animals, I went with sheep in 3 bags full. They are the main characters. Wild animals, I went with birds in A Dumb Bird's Field Guide to the Worst Birds Ever. It's all about wild birds. And zoo animals, I went with The Island of Dr. Moreau, and it does have leopard. It does have a leopard, and it also has chimpanzees and other animals. But so I easily got that one with that. Okay, queer alphabets. I'm doing okay, sort of. For gay, I have options. So I just haven't got to them yet. Lesbian, I did The Mimicking of Known Successes. Strange Beast does have bisexual characters. Transgender in The Affair of the Mysterious Letter, because there is a trans man in there. Asexual, I've gone with Elatsoe. and non-binary agender, I've gone with the Empress of Salt and Fortune. So the ones I haven't found yet, and I'd actually love suggestions for, are intersex, polyamory, and gender fluid. I'm particularly worried about polyamory because I don't like reading romance or books with romance in them. And I'm worried that that's going to be a primary component. But yes, but anyway, give me suggestions if you can think of any fantasy or science fiction books, or even mysteries that might have some, any of those three. All right, favorite HRCYED prompt. I've actually gone the rainbow again because I actually really like the rainbow prompt. And obviously I've been prioritizing the other one a bit, but I'm doing okay. I've got my red, werewolves in the kitchen, vampires at the door. I've got orange claimed. That may not be orange enough. If I find another book that has orange, I'll go with that. But so far, that's what's in. For blue, I've got The Affair of the Mysterious Letter. Purple, I've got The Naked Sun. It is predominantly purple in the background. And Miss Percy's Pocket Guide actually doesn't look it here, but in it, the physical copy looks very, very brown. Like all those black bits in there, actually brown. But anyway, so I've got 5 to go there. So I've got quite a few. I've got some ideas. I should be able to do those. BIPOC challenge, I'm halfway. And I've got obviously N.K. Jemisin, African American, Ted Chiang, Taiwanese descent. I've got Tola Okogwu, born in Nigeria. R.F. Kwong was born in China. And Darcy Little Badger is Lipan Apache. So yes, and I do have lots of other options to put in this, so I have no issues completing this one. New releases challenge. All right, so I didn't actually realize you could, when I started in July, I didn't realize I could have just picked up a late June release and finished that. So I'm going to set myself up for potential failure at the end, and I will be submitting this prompt last, I'm guessing. But anyway, I've done so pretty well. Otherwise, for July, I've got A Resistance of Witches. August, The Society of Unknowable Objects. September, Werewolves in the Kitchen. And October, Recipes for an Unexpected Afterlife. I do for November, I've got Potentials. So I've got Strength for the Few, or Brigands and Bread Knives. And for December, I'm actually going to read the second book of the Hexologist series. And that's because it's only released in Australia in December. For Challenge Yourself, this is probably quite stupid, but I've decided to read 10 SF Masterworks. It is something I do want to read. I have been really enjoying science fiction, and this is probably one of the prompts I'm I have least progress in. But anyway, The Island of Dr. Moreau fits in there, Roadside Picnic, and Revelation Space, but I've got 7 to go, so that's quite a lot. For non-fiction, I'm almost done. So for sociology, I've got Dangerous Ideas, Nature, Dumb Bird's Field Guide. Science, I've got Breakfast of Einstein. Memoir, I've got Knife by Salman Rushdie. So my other ones are either going to be history or geopolitics, because I have The Rest is History, which I really want to read. But I also have Prisoners of Geography, which is geopolitics, which I really want to read. But I could also read A Yuma by David Mitchell, or I also have some psychology books. So I could easily fit that one in. I'm not worried about it. And finally, cues, reviews, and recommendations. I have for mini review, I've got The Enchanted Greenhouse, and I fully agree with her. I really, really enjoyed that. For TikTok or Instagram Reel or YouTube Shorts, I watch the YouTube Shorts for Calabasas, and I didn't mind Calabasas, but I didn't like it as much as Q did. And the vlog I haven't got yet. So yes, I'm just waiting to see a vlog that comes out with a book that I've actually read or plan to read. But anyway, that's where I'm at, and I'm pretty happy with how I'm going. It's looking pretty good. If I look at my stats, I mean, I haven't done money or years, how long it's taken me to read them. But I am liking how my map is looking. And yes, that's it. So basically just a few suggestions here and there, but I think I'm on track to finish it. Is that possible? I don't know if it is. And I think I still need to read, like, if I double up prompts, I need to get 4 books a month until the end of the challenge. So that's a lot. I mean, I do read more than that, but I've got to make sure they fit the prompts. And I'm finding that as the challenge goes on, it gets harder to find books that fit the prompts that I'm missing, because at the beginning you've got lots that just slot in anywhere. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know how you're going. And until I see you next time, take care.